G'day everybody and welcome back to beautiful Corio Bay here in Geelong, Victoria, Australia. Welcome to everybody watching around the world on OSC live streaming, brought to you by GP Hydro live streaming and streaming back through Bisho Media. Conditions are looking beautiful and we have got our Supercat outboards heading onto the course, and we've also got our Supersport 85 boats heading out on the course for the last race of the day. Conditions looking absolutely beautiful here as always, and boats starting to mill in the milling area. So final race of the day here at Geelong at Corio Bay for the Geelong City Council. And if you want to check out all of the results once racing is done, you can jump on the socials, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Just bang in Offshore Superboats and you'll find it there. Or you can jump on the official OSC website, which is www.superboat.com.au, and it is of course brought to you by the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club here down in Victoria at the moment for this particular round of the championship, which is round number 2. Round number 3 is going to move along to Hervey Bay in Queensland, and round number 4, the Gold Coast. Hervey Bay will be on the 11th and 12th of May, and Gold Coast will be 27th, 28th. And welcome back everybody here on site. Are you enjoying the racing today? Certainly hope you are. Okay, so we're just waiting. There's a little bit of an obstruction, I believe, on the course at the moment. So we're just waiting for that to be cleared, and we'll pick the boats up and we'll be sending them on their way. So two categories out on the water in this one. We're going to have the Mantis, TCR, the Sting and DLR. Not sure if DLR is going to make it out there, which is a Dove Logistics Offshore. Craig Dove and Steve Lancaster, they just ran in the Supersport 65 category. Now they are ready to head out in the Supercat outboard category. However, they did have a problem with that boat in race number 1. And I'm just hearing word that TCR, one of the crew, is out of the cockpit. So there could be a problem with the TCR machine, which would be a real shame for these boys. They've been struggling all series, and if they've got an issue now, that's not going to be good for their championship aspirations, that's for sure. Championship as of prior to our first race this morning, Supercat outboard, we had Mantis on top of the table, Sting and TCR running into third place here, and I think it'll definitely still be the same after race number 1 this morning. And in our Supersport 85, the Colonel sitting on top of the table by a fair bit, 140 points, very long way clear of the C52 on 57 points. However, we saw RS Motorsports take a win in the race this morning. That's going to move them up above the C52 and put them into second spot. So Shan Racing, Ryan Shan, needs to have a good one. He needs to try and have a win here in this one. So let's see what they can do here. We're just trying to get this little bit of an issue sorted out as we pick up the boats now, and it does look like a problem with TCR. It also looks as though we don't have the DLR Offshore Dove Logistics Racing, so which I sort of half expected after that problem that they had this morning. They only got 1 lap completed, so that unfortunately only brings us down to 2 Supercat outboard boats. So they'll be doing a sighting or parade lap, behind our start boat, the Waterbird. Brooksy, that's the 1988 World Water Ski Racing Champion boat, towing Steve Moore from the UK. Got left here in 88, and it's now our official start boat. There's some history and trivia for you. So we've also seemed to be missing the special edition as well. Mark the Rushon, so he's gone ski. We might get a little bit of an update. We may actually know what was wrong with the boat. We don't know, so yeah, unfortunately, obviously a serious enough problem that they can't run in this one. So Ryan Shan's going to need to take a win here in this one. He needs the points desperately towards the championship, so because he's got a long way to try and catch up on the Colonel, who have won every race up until they blew an engine up yesterday. So they'll be out. So basically the only boat, so we've really only got, it's going to be, I think we can shorten this one. Going on board now with Mantis. And you can see the view out of the Mantis there. You can see start boat just in front of them off to their starboard right-hand side. Anthony DeFina is on the right-hand side there in the shot on your screen. And you've got Matt Kelly on the steering wheel. And they're just waiting for that boat to bring them around down into the start chute. Go on board now with the Sting. Doing it for Lockie and Mickey Radcliffe and Carl Wall, the crew in there. And you see them both in the boat. Carl on throttles. Mickey on the steering duties or the pilot duties in that particular boat. So they're a little bit hamstrung at the moment. They've got new engines on that boat and they don't have the arsenal of propellers that they would like in the workshop. And it's probably not conditions that are suiting the Skater Cat. The Skater would have probably preferred something a little bit rougher than what they've been dished up here today at beautiful Corio Bay. Massive shout out to the Geelong City Council. Wonderful supporters here at Geelong. Always an absolute pleasure to come here. I tell you what, the Wharf Shed, you could do a lot worse than go there for dinner. Whew. So plenty going on. Of course, Cunningham Pier, absolutely beautiful. Plenty of places to eat and drink here in beautiful Geelong. Had the footy last night. I'm not sure who won, actually. I think St Kilda got knocked off, actually. So white flag up. And the attrition rate has come through here today, the final race of the day, and we've got the last of the Wounded Warriors. Looks like TCR has got up and going, so that's good news. We've added an extra boat to the Supercat 600 category. White flag up, waiting for it to drop. Flag drops, we're racing. So 3 Supercat outboards are charging down into turn number 1. And who can get the job done here? That's going to be the question. The Sting gets a very good start. Mantis on the inside. Mantis is going to be very, very hard to beat from that inside run yet again. As they storm down into turn number 1. We've got a Saracen Hull, a Skater Cat and the Doug Wright on the outside as they tip in for the first time. And it's a Mantis again. Oh, a bit of a hose off there for the Sting, as well as those boys try and run in the wash of the Mantis. They may even try and duck up the inside. TCR, good to see that they sorted that, obviously a problem they had out. But they're still that little bit off the pace, unfortunately. You can see the gap already starting to open up on TCR as Sting and Mantis start to pull away. Thanks, boys. You having a good day? Got some good men down here watching, and girls watching the racing. Hope they're enjoying it. Fantastic stuff. Beautiful day here in Geelong. Sun's out, water's smooth. What more could you want? We're at a boat race. Tell you what, RS Motorsports looks a little off the pace to me at the moment. Just throwing a bit of water around, and certainly not what I expect from that hull. It's a shifty catamaran built by Paul Gibbs and his team up there on the Gold Coast. But that boat is off the pace. That is well and truly off the pace. It's barely on the plane. So big problems here for Ryan Shan and Scott Kelly. And in actual fact, these two blokes really need this win here. They need to come home with a finish. So things aren't looking good in that crew either. Certainly not the pace I expect out of that boat. They are running in a speed limited class, but it's an 85-mile-an-hour class. They're probably lucky to be doing 60 at the moment. Probably doing 45, 50 miles an hour. So I don't know, it's going to be a long afternoon for those boys if they're going to cruise around at that speed all day. I think I'd rather stick pins in my eyes, to be honest. So, at the head of the pack, we see the Mantis, Anthony Defina and Steve Kelly. Where am I going? Matthew Kelly, of course, who's Steve's son. You know what they say, folks, experts make the same mistakes for more complex reasons. Mantis. Look at the slide here. Look at the drift in the slide. Didn't even no in trim on the boat at all. Just let her fly. Come in at about pole 6 and exit pole 1. Very different line there for the Sting as they run hard on the pin and then run wide as they exit. So two different styles of attacking the corner there. But I don't think that's going to be enough to get the Mantis over the line here this afternoon. They're going to have to pray for the Sting over the line, I should say. They're going to have to pray for a problem in the Mantis boat. TCR still off the pace. Couple of Mercury 300Rs required on the transom of that boat, I feel. So Mantis have just had it all their own way from the get-go this season. They've been absolutely dominant. I said to Matty Kelly this morning, "Are you getting sick of winning?" He said, "You never get sick of winning, son." I wholeheartedly concur. Sting going up through the dogleg, chasing down Mantis. So a 30-minute race, this particular event, and becoming a little bit of a procession already in this one. RS Motorsport's an interesting one. They are off the pace, so I'm not sure whether they're just deciding to save the gear. They have no one to race in their category, so it would make sense not to absolutely wring its neck. Having said that, I don't think running at 85 is really wringing the neck of that particular boat. It is capable of speeds well up into the 90-mile-an-hour bracket. Oh, and I do love an XC Cobra. Neil, my cameraman, nearly just fell over. XC Cobra. Ford Day today here at Geelong as well. So if you're floating around after the event here, go and check out all the beautiful Fords. Just had a lovely XC Cobra drive past. So Ryan Shan just cruising along. They look like they're having a cup of tea and a scone out there at the moment. Mantis drifting and sliding. They're having an absolute dip as they just go through the wash of the RX Motorsports machine, and you'll see the speed difference. So you're probably looking at around about 95 miles an hour versus, I want to say, 50 miles an hour at the moment. RX Motorsports, not sure whether the Wicks just dialed down to save the boat or whether they just got an actual issue with the boat, but it'll be a pretty frustrating day in the cockpit. Be pretty hot too. Being nice and warm here at Geelong. I'm not sure the degrees, but I'd say it'd have to be 26, 28. Sun's out, beautiful day, just some Simpson sky clouds, bit of cumulonimbus. A little bit of Jane Bunn action from Bisho Media. TCR kicks off another lap. Don't forget, folks, you can check out all of the details of the Offshore Superboat Championship on the website. Jump on the website. It's a ripper one. There's lots of photos, lots of great stuff. It's www.superboat.com.au, or they're on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Just bang in the search bar, Superboats and Superboat Championship. You'll find them there. Easy to find. plenty of great information, plenty of great pictures, and if you want to know where and when things are happening, of course, this is round number 2, Corio Bay, Geelong. Round number 3, we move to Harvey Bay on the 11th and 12th of May, and then the final round of the championship, the beautiful Gold Coast. Back at the Gold Coast for the first time in many years. Certainly can't even remember the last time we raced on the Gold Coast, but I do remember one of the most epic races I've ever seen was on the Gold Coast between Riviera and Tony Lowe's Union Steel triple rig. YouTube that, folks, if you ever want to see an epic ending to a race. So Tony Lowe's birthday yesterday. Big shout out to Big Tone. Hope you had a great birthday, son. And this is round number 2. This is the final race number 2 for our Supercat outboards and our Supersport 85 category boats as they come down past Cunningham Pier. Absolutely stunning images coming here over the live stream brought to you by GP Hydro live streaming. Mantis sitting beautifully, sitting up like, for the ski racers that are watching, sitting up like a smock boat. They'll know what I'm talking about. Beautiful single rigs that sit up on their tails. It's exactly the same, just sitting on its tail going beautifully. Those 300R Mercury sounding beautiful, the V8 power on the back of these boats. I do think we need to start drilling the exhaust out on and make them a bit louder though. So Mantis heading up as we go on board with the Sting and looking at those beautiful 300Rs. 4.6 litre quad overhead cam, V8 4-stroke technology, 120, 130 kilometres an hour, 34 going up into the 140 bracket. So they're cracking along quite nicely, 140 odd kilometres an hour out of the Sting, but unfortunately I think you'll find the Mantis is doing like 150 kilometres an hour, and so you're not going to win races that way. Are you joining me in commentary, Russell? Why not? I'll just take my microphone off. Russell Embleton, ladies and gentlemen, the man that you never get to see. Sometimes you might hear from him, but he is our race director for the Offshore Superboat Championships. Rusty, welcome to my office.
Yeah, thanks, Bisho. Lovely to be here. Loving the life and the weather and everything here in Geelong, eh?
It is, mate. Unfortunately, attrition's played its toll in this particular race, so we've got a little bit of a procession going out there, but championships are won by reliability.
Yeah, well, it's that old saying, to finish first you must finish. And look, it's maybe a little bit of an offshoot of our format. You know, 2 races yesterday, 1 race today, and vice versa. That, you know, yesterday we just busted some gear. You know, the Colonel boat, I think they caught it early, but not a happy looking engine on that boat. The poor fellas, you know, Hayden and Zach in C52, very, very lucky for that boat to not be upside down, but, you know, some engine damage as a result of that. So I know my son Ben and you know, Mark the Russian in the special edition, they've just got a gremlin. They've got a very, very highly strung 700 odd horsepower Maritimo engine there, and you know, that's new to Mark. It's new to Mark to be you know, dealing with that big inboard rather than the reasonably reliable outboard. So, yeah, just tough work.
Sorry, mate, to just cut you off, but I've just noticed RS Motorsports have pulled up into the middle of the course, and we saw Ryan going around at maybe 50 miles an hour, and I was speculating whether maybe there's a problem with the boat or maybe they're just saving the gear, seeing they have no one to race, but it looks like there's a problem with the boat, and that's bad because their championship could have looked a lot better if they had taken this win home.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I sort of figured they were just doing everything that and only anything that needed to be done, but yeah, maybe they've got a little bug. Hopefully they can sort it through and finish this race out. Yeah, it's tough water. It looks flat, looks innocuous enough, but it's this sort of stuff that breaks boats.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's wide open throttle and everything's under strain when you're banging on the rev limiters as TCR coming through. These boys have struggled for pace. I think I'm wondering whether the budget, they might be looking for a sponsor to extend to a couple of 300Rs on the back of this thing.
I think they've got to, and I think they know they've got to, but that's not an inexpensive proposition. You know, once they, and I believe they'll get the 300Rs, and you know, show the true potential of that boat against these other guys. But it ain't cheap, so you want to sponsor yourself a 600 horsepower offshore race boat, have a talk to them.
I would, mate, because I said said on commentary earlier on, it's actually my favourite boat out there. It's a Doug Wright design built by AMT, and absolutely beautiful boat. One of the best American boats going around.
Oh, the pedigree of that boat is just beyond the doubt, and it has raced here in Australia under a few different owners and a few different names, and has been successful time and time again. So you know, as I've heard you mentioning on the commentary, it's just a technology, it's a generational thing, where you've got the Mantis and the Sting now with these new, you know, big torquey V8 engines that you know, Chuka and Scotty are just up against it.
Yeah, they are, mate, but yeah, as you say, budgetary concerns are the problem. But I'll tell you what, if you got a couple of 300Rs on that boat, I reckon, and you stuck your name on the side of it, you'd get some good value for your sponsorship dollar, because they'd be giving these Mantis boys a run for their money as we watch them go through.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As I said, the pedigree of the boats there, the presentation, the effort that Scott and Steve and all the gang put in is beyond reproach. So now they'll be back.
They will be back, mate. And of course, down here at Geelong, we love coming here, don't we? We've got the beautiful Geelong City Council always back us. You're involved in organising these races, so no one knows better than you what's involved and what goes into it, and all the permits and all the hard work. And we always get beautifully supported by the Geelong City Council.
Yeah, we do. City of Greater Geelong have been long time supporters of offshore powerboat racing here. We had a hiatus there for a while, and they've welcomed us back. As always, they give us the beautiful steam packet garden to have our dry pit on, which we're very grateful for. Ripping racetrack, you know, where we are here on Hern Parade up on the hill. The view is just fantastic. I want to thank, while we're at it, Royal Geelong Yacht Club. They've been tremendous hosts. They the custodians of the Wangam Walk wave attenuator there, and they, you know, they let us moor up the boats in between races, and they let us you know, have the spectators walk out on there and get a great view. So, you know, the support we get here and the welcome and the hospitality is phenomenal.
Rose, don't you come into my commentary box using terms like wave attenuators. I don't even know what that is.
Wave break, is that better? No.
Thanks, mate. I'm confused, but no, it is beautiful. Royal Geelong Yacht Club. It's we might go there for a quiet beverage after this.
Well, we might do that. It seemed like just the right thing to do to return the favours, I guess.
Going on board now, mate, with Mantis, and we've been watching this all day. And Matty Kelly, I spoke to him this morning. There's a fair bit of wheel work going on in that boat, and he said he's getting a little bit of a chine walk up in the boat, which for those that maybe don't know what a chine walk is in a V-bottom boat, when the boats rock from side to side, cats don't generally do it, but they're actually trapping that much air underneath this particular boat. We're just watching Mantis now sliding down through the bottom turn in front of the commentary box here, and you can see it just dancing from sponsor to sponsor. He said he's actually having to drive the boat a little bit like a monohull.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've explained to those listening that these boats are about trapping air in the tunnel of the boat, and it's a really delicate balance. You get that right amount of air, it sits the boat up. The faster you go, the more air and the more it sits up, and then your engines start to lift. Your little skegs on the bottom of the engines come clear of the water, and it's kind of, you're willing the boat around corners. You're willing the boat into the right direction.
100%. And if you get it wrong, too much trim into a headwind, you blow over backwards.
So they say. You'd probably know better than me.
I've never blown one over. I barrel rolled a few though. But it's interesting, mate. There's a lot of people maybe watching that don't, you know, we're talking about the tunnels. They have a tunnel down the centre and a sponge on either side, or a hull either side. They actually, the tunnel actually tapers towards the rear, so it gets smaller towards the rear. So the idea is that the air gets compressed. So it comes in the front of the tunnel, it goes down the tunnel, compresses the air, and that actually lifts the boat up and effectively sits it on a cushion of air, less friction, more speed. Yeah,
exactly right. It's referred to as choke, I think, is what that's all about. And you know, as much aeroplane as boat to a certain degree.
100%, mate. Well, Ryan Shan's got up and going again, so that's good news. He really just needs to bring this home, because his championship is looking a little bit dodgy at the start of this, and he's probably been blessed a little bit with all the other competitors dropping out, but he still needs to get 75% of this race done, I would believe.
Yes, he does. And you're right, it's vitally important. The poor old fellas in the Colonel, Jason Kelly and Jesse King, and Jason with his Uncle Mick this weekend, unassailable lead you would have thought coming out of Wyndham Harbour. And by virtue of missing 2 races today, they've really brought themselves back to the field, or the field's caught themselves up. So Ryan's in the box seat right now to capitalise on that. But yeah, he's got to get to the end of this race.
Now your son Benny Embleton, of course, running with Mark the Russian in that beautiful Cuda craft, and as you said, it's got the 750 horsepower Maritimo race engine, Mercury number 6 drive. It's definitely the coolest boat here.
Oh, it's awesome. A lovely boat. Again, you mentioned before, there's not an ugly or substandard boat come out of the Cuda craft shed there in Malakuta. And this latest special edition is no different to that. But as I said, Mark's gone a different road on this occasion with the big inboard. Highly strung. They're not stretching that engine out too much. I think they're probably only turning it to 5,500 revs at that 85 mile an hour mark. But, you know, they're complicated beasts.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the cockpit away in the engine bay of one of those boats and those engines, and you are adapting automotive technology into the marine world, and it's always been the thing with inboards that you're trying to sort of do that crossover thing, whereas an outboard engine is designed from the ground up to be out in the water, in the salt water, and, you know, they're designed for commercial use and for pleasure use, and you know, the engines on the back of Mantis and the Sting at the moment, the average punter can just go and buy one of them and put them on their boat. They're completely stock engines, whereas what Mark's doing, as you said, very highly strung, a lot of power, sounds fantastic.
Oh, it sounds awesome. The thing that I think you've got to bear in mind, and maybe people don't realise with boats, you see your V8 supercars, you see big block Chevs in drag racing, big block Chevs in monster trucks. They're on and off the gas. They're on and off the throttle. That engine gets a rest from time to time. Whereas on the water, it's a constant load. And even today, it's flat. In a lot of respects, it's harder on the gear because it's 30 minutes of just constant load on the prop, on the gearbox, on the engines. It's not nice.
No, it's hard on the gear. I mean, the only thing that people could probably equate it to, and we certainly talk about this in water ski racing, whose world I come from, is that the NASCAR stuff is probably about the only thing that even comes close.
Yeah, it is. And I guess, you know, if you put it in a car sense, if you drove up a hill in your car for 30 minutes, you know, that hill just didn't stop. You're just under that load, the engine's under that load the whole time. You know your temperature gauge is going to start going up. Things are getting hot, things are getting strained, and that's what powerboats are all about.
Good on you, Rusty. Thanks for coming up and having a chat, mate. You're going to hang out with me for the rest of the race, or have you got work to do?
No, I've got a radio up here with you, Bish, so I'll sit and listen and watch as you ply your trade and hone your craft. I want to say a really big thank you to you. Once again, you know, this weekend at Geelong, you represent the sport phenomenally well, and you ought to be proud of the job you're doing. Really grateful for your presence.
Thanks, Rusty. It's nice to hear, mate. We enjoy doing it. That's what it's all about. I'll just try and have a little bit of a look at the time, and we're just going on board. And now we're going to have a look at the time. So we've got 9 minutes, 48 seconds left to run on this one. We've got Mantis still with a very, very strong lead at the moment. In fact, just having a look at the times here, Rusty, and I don't know if I can get my mic over to you far enough. There I can. What sort of lap times are we looking at there, please, mate?
So the Mantis is running consistently at 2 minutes 20. The Sting, it just seems to be giving away a second or so a lap, and TCR giving away, you know, maybe 7, 8, 9 seconds a lap. So, but yeah, just consistent, 220, 220, 220. I think off the top of my head, this track is about 6 kilometres around, so you can do the sums if you like. But yeah, Mantis just putting on a display.
They have all season, mate. It's been absolutely epic the way they've gone about it. But I'd like to see someone knock them off. You don't want to see someone winning every race.
I'd probably agree with you.
We like racing. We don't want blokes going out winning every race. But hey, they are the class of the field at the moment, and they're well deserved, sitting well and truly on top of the table. And I tell you what, with only 4 rounds this year and coming into the halfway mark at the end of this race, the other team's got a lot of work to do, and they're going to have to, maybe we should talk about the ensuing rounds we've got coming up. We're going to Harvey Bay on the 11th and 12th of May, and then we're going to the Gold Coast 27th and 28th of July. It's going to be pretty exciting to see maybe some rough water racing. We might see some big offshore swell out of the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that are going to come into play. Harvey Bay and Gold Coast, both or all 4 classes only do 2 races each at those venues, whereas Wyndham Harbour and Geelong here in Victoria, there've been 3 races each, so there's not as many points on offer at either Harvey Bay or on the Gold Coast. Harvey Bay, for those of you who haven't been there, it's quite shallow and it's quite exposed, so Harvey Bay can chop up really, really yucky. Of course, the Gold Coast, you know, it's the swell, the surf. Yeah, what's happening here and what happens there could be 2 completely different things.
It absolutely will, and I reckon the Sting boys will be really looking forward to getting to the Gold Coast. Because they're from Queensland. It's great to have them down here too. It's a bloody big logistical effort for those boys. They bring a truck, they bring a van, and they bring the boat, and a truck towing the boat as well. So they do an awesome effort, and they've probably been a little bit, they probably would have preferred some rougher water, but speaking to Mike and also Carl, propellers are their problem at the moment. These new engines that they've only got really the one set of props, which are the ones that they ran on their last engines, but they can't get the same RPM out of them. He's going to have a spend and buy some propellers, I think.
Yeah, they've come that first leap from when they put those engines on and they got their heights right and the balance of the boat has been really good. But yeah, they're obviously just a little bit hobbled at the moment. They'll fix that. I'm sure Rach will let Mike reach into the piggy bank and have a little bit of a spend with Mr. Herring, won't you, Rach? But yeah, as I said, and you said, different water to come at Harvey Bay and at the Gold Coast. We look forward to the hospitality up there. Us Melburnians go up and thaw out a little bit in both Harvey Bay and on the Gold Coast. It should be a great round out to the season.
Just watching RS Motorsports go through, and I'm going to say that left-hand or port engine looks like it's dragging a bit to me, showing a little bit of an odd rooster tail there, Rusty, as it goes through. I reckon they've got a bit of drama there.
Yeah, if you can see it on the cameras, it's just peeling that water up out the left-hand side of the boat, just at the back there. That would probably indicate that it's dragging a propeller, I would say. So they've got one engine not doing what it should be. That would be my guess.
Got to be a bit careful too when you have broken a propeller blade. It can either, whether it's gone or whether it's actually, just maybe even just split, got a crack in it and out of balance. That can really damage a gearbox as well. So, what do? You push on. He definitely wants the points, and we can see a lap now getting put on the TCR by the Mantis. So it's taken me 3 race meetings to stop calling it Saracen, Rusty.
We're still the same in race control. It's the Sarah Mantis or whatever it's called. It's poor old Scotty and Steve. They'll be cursing and chewing on the steering wheel as that Mantis boat tries to get by them. Just that bit where you get lapped just drives the point home, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100% does, and they're all really good mates off the water. And in fact, Steve, I think, helps out with the Mantis boat a fair bit. Stevie Kelly with Speedmaster Marine, Sportmaster Marine. I get Speedmaster and Sportmaster confused. I don't know why. But Stevie won't be happy watching his brother go past him.
And you could just about guarantee that right about now, his brother Matt is letting him know that he's going past him. Be giving him the family wave out the window, I would imagine.
Yeah, it'll be a one-fingered wave, I reckon, Rusty. So Matty Kelly just goes past Steve Kelly. So that's what happens. The sons get faster than the fathers. It happens in every motorsport.
That might be the case when poor old Ben's special edition gets going and they get some consistency in the boat. I know he's already gone faster than I have, but I've won a few more races.
Yeah, well, he's got a bit more of an expensive weapon than you ever had.
Oh, yeah, hasn't he just? But he's a smart one. He's not paying for it.
Yeah, 100% been there. No, so racing continuing on, and we've got around about 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes left to run. Race order at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mantis back to the Sting and TC Racing. That is in your Supercat outboard. And then in our Supersport 85 category, it is RS Motorsports, but they do have an issue as we go on board now with the Mantis. And, well, I wish we'd have gone on board just about a minute earlier, Rusty. We might have been able to see the one-fingered wave as they go through. Great shots we are coming through here as well as we go on board with the Sting, Rusty.
You know what? The guys from GP Hydro live streaming just get better and better and better. Scotty Lambert is honing his craft. He's a tinkerer. He's a little nutty professor, and he's just doing everything he can with live streaming technology just to improve the show every single time, and it's a credit to him.
It is, mate. He's a passionate guy about all powerboat racing. He's a Grand Prix hydroplane man at the heart, but you see him at all the circuit boat races, at all the offshore races, and he does it probably to his own detriment half the time, but he just loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a passion. It's a beauty of I guess, all sports. You know, whether you're on the committee of the footy club or you're umpiring at cricket or whatever the case may be. To be a competitor is great, but if you can find your little niche as a race director, as a guy that is pioneering the live streaming of powerboat racing, if you're a commentator, if there's that involvement, you feel like you're doing it still.
Oh, 100%, mate. It's been, for me, I retired. Well, I guess I've retired from racing. I've never used the R word, to be honest. But, yeah, once you're not racing anymore, to still be able to be involved, and especially my job, mine's the easy one because I just talk about the stuff that I'd like to talk about anyway.
But you do it well. Just some days I wish we gave you a little bit more to talk about.
Well, today's one of those days, but hey, TCR gets lapped by the Sting as well, so a bit of a sad day for the TCR boys. But having said that, the boat's still up and running. They had a bit of a problem at the start. Did you actually get any feedback on what was going on with the boat?
No, I don't know what the problem was. I know they missed the parade lap. One of the guys were at the back fluffing about with engines, so I'm not entirely sure what the issue was. But, never say die. Never get the bit taken out of their teeth. They're just hammering away. They're in the points the whole time. And, again, we talk about the Gold Coast. It may not be to the Mantis's liking up there. And it might be that the Doug Wright design and the Douglas Skater designs might just come into their own.
Lighter engines as well, potentially a little bit better balanced in that big rough water.
Yeah, you're dead right. And Steve and Scott, they're a pair of old stagers. They'll know what to do in that swell.
Oh, they have a go. They don't like getting beaten. They'd be absolutely spewing today.
If you notice that, I'm just looking out to my left with about a minute to go in the race. What's going on here?
Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, after dominating for the last 12 races, Mantis coming off the plane. What's happened here, Rusty? This is devastating for them, but I tell you what, there'll be high fives going on in the cockpit of the Sting at the moment.
Yeah, I think that wave might have just been returned, and
I just saw it checkered, reckon they did too, and then they put it straight down. We might have had a problem here.
Yeah, geez, I'm going to leave you to it.
You got to go, Russ. He's got to go. There's been a bit of an issue there. The checkered flag did come up and then got immediately put down again. I think our boat crews maybe. So everyone's confusion reigning supreme here. Sting takes off again. They've realised the problem. So Mantis, after a race that we sat around and wondered what the heck's going on here. One lap to go. Mantis comes to a stop. If they run out of fuel, who knows? Maybe Anthony needs to dig into the fuel card. I can't imagine what else could have gone wrong with that boat. It's got the brand new 300Rs on it, and those things rarely fail. But the Sting, oh, I tell you what. the Sting. So Mickey Ratcliffe and Carl Wall doing it for Lockie. They go into the lead, and this is not going to hurt their championship one little bit. They got a little bit confused. There was a bit of confusion on the finish boat there, and I think the checkered flag did accidentally just get lifted up when it probably shouldn't. But fortunately, it hasn't really caused anyone too much grief. Don't forget, obviously, TCR is a lap down as they've headed up through the dogleg and now going through the top end of this beautiful Corio Bay course now. And the Sting and Mikey Ratcliffe, Carl Wall, they won't be able to believe their luck as they go. This is the sort of thing that they really needed to happen for them. They didn't have the pace. Mantis, as I said, I think they've won the last 12 or 13 races in a row, and now for this to come to a stop, they get up. They're trying to get it going again. They're trying to, they want to get this lap done. Having said that, they've completed 75% of the course, so I don't know if I'd bother if I were them, because they'll get a finish regardless, and it's going to be, well, they're not going to be able to unlap themselves because race leader is coming down the Cunningham Pier back straight away for the Geelong City Council.
Start boat, race control.
And the checkered flag will be produced now.
Start boat, race control.
So the Sting, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Sting. They take the win, take the checkered flag. Carl Wall winning races for Lockie with Mickey Ratcliffe. Beautiful job. TCR, well, not going to call second because if Mantis can complete this lap, they won't have unlapped themselves. TCR won't have unlapped themselves. But I think Mantis has got more drama than they know what to do with at the moment. I'm not sure that they're going to get this boat across the line. So, fascinating stuff. You never know at the boat races, do you, ladies and gentlemen? You think it's all just a foregone conclusion. You think everyone's cruising around, and right on the last lap, it all goes pear-shaped. Wowee. So, and Ryan Shan, RS Motorsports, they'll come through to collect the win in the Super Sport 85 category. So that's massive bag of points in the bank for them towards the championship. And they had their own dramas. They only just limped that boat home. So well done to Ryan and Scotty Kelly, of course, on board that beautiful shifty catamaran. They head back into the marina. They'll be over and done with. And just looking over there, and I think Mantis has pulled out. So that is going to wrap up our final race for the day as we send boats back into the marina. Mantis is done. Crew are out. All right, folks, well, that wraps up round number 2 of the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships, brought to you by the Australian Offshore Powerboat Club. Wowee, we hope you enjoyed the racing over the weekend. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Next round, I'll check the date, it's Harvey Bay in the 11th and 12th of May. So put that one into the calendar. They'll be bringing it to you live via the GP Hydro live stream and, of course, over the OSC site. We thank you very much for watching. We thank everybody that was here on site. We hope you enjoyed the racing over the last 2 days. My name's Dave Bishop, and we'll see you next time.